Welcome back. I'm Alfred Lambremont Weber, and today we have the extraordinary privilege coming to us from Moscow and from Poland and other parts of the world, Dr. Irene Caesar, who is the developer and sole owner of Wave Genome and the Quantum Leap technology, as well as the group of Mind Tech Enterprises who you've met with Magnus Olsson, Malin Nimro, Mohammed, and Martin Herneberg. Welcome all. Yeah, yes. Could you describe what you call the digital pharmacy?
Digital pharmacy is the collection of the digitized bioholograms for every essential bodily organ and physiological system in your body. And it is of great value because you can have lasers or some other equipment, you see, to record bioholograms, but it requires decades of research to actually collect the properly functional digitized bioholograms. You see, to test them, to go through clinical trials, and then to get them certified and licensed. So they are fully certified and licensed by the Ministry of Health in Russia. So Americans got their helium neon stabilized lasers from two researchers in 2002 in Toronto, Canada. But Americans never got the library of the digitized bioholograms, so they're behind of Russia for decades of research. And the Institute for National Security privatized this technology in 2000. And before that, it was a state technology, top secret technology. And in the West, it is still top secret and still classified. And in Russia, it was declassified in 2008. And this library of digitized bioholograms was created by the largest institute in Russia in this field, called Scientific Research Institute Energy, with 5,000 scientists, created in 1937 with unlimited resources. And this library of digitized bioholograms are not frequencies, you see? These are not frequencies. This is the library of the holographic signals, holograms, or you might call them granulated signals. So every segment of this holographic signal for every bodily organ is not a frequency. It is a hologram containing the infinite number of frequencies, particles, waves, and fields as a specific refraction mechanism for any external signal. And it is the technology not available anywhere else. And the Western science and attempts of creating bioelectronic drugs are far behind in comparison with this technology. Google launched their research and development program for bioelectronic drugs approximately 6 months ago. And I am selling bioelectronic drugs for already 6 years. And they were available in this institute and other institutes in Russia, because it was the collective research in Soviet Union for decades, you see. So this technology is a completely different technology that is not available right now in the West. And the most horrible, I would say, fact is that the paradigm, the scientific and technological paradigm of the West at the moment is in denial of quantum leap. So, as I said, global artificial intellect, nanobots as computers of molecular size, BCI brain-computer interface, even liquid crystal brain chips of DARPA announced in 2014 in August. All these technologies, synthetic telepathy, voice to skull, these technologies are first of all of Russian origin. And secondly, they are obsolete technologies. So Russians abandoned these technologies. And when Donald Cook, this ship was downed by Russians in 2014, this was a striking example that unfortunately right now Western science is used by military-industrial complex simply for laundering money, you see, and getting, CEO payoffs, you see. So it's not moving in a proper direction. So I, would encourage Americans, and I'm an American, you see, I have dual citizenship. So I'm an American, Wave Genome is an American company, you see. So, and I encourage Americans simply to make this leap, you see, quantum leap, to overstep these limitations and the monkey business, you see, the monkey business of hatred and warmongering.
Right. Now, could you describe what the quantum bio-internet is?
I have created the project of quantum bio-internet, which I called OM, in 2013, and I represented the project in May of 2013 in London for Andrew Charalambos, who is a prior of Byzantine Templars, at his invitation in London. And the project was created by other scientists, Inna Yakovleva from Krasnoyarsk, Russia. And the essence of this project was to actually commercially apply the technology of remote management of biosystems via the laser signal at the distance. And this was done by a few groups in Soviet Union and Russia. And Hub Group was one of these groups. And before I actually offered you this project, they were applying locally recorded DVDs. So they used DVDs to encode the hologram on the nano level via laser. And they were putting the DVDs over the body of the client to successfully cure people of cancer and diabetes and other horrible conditions. And I offered her to actually create a kind of new paradigm for her group, and we created this project, and the essence of this project is based precisely upon the implication of the holographic principle that I formulated in 2012 in August, as I described to you earlier. And the implication states that if the universe is entirely in its every matrix point, this means that every matrix point is not simply different from any other matrix point, but is unique. And if you have two copies of the same non-local unique wave matrix, you can transmit information instantaneously, you see? So these two tokens or three tokens of the same unique non-local wave matrix constitutes one systematic whole. And in fact, I believe that our mind functions in this way. So our eyes actually get information codes from objects. You see, they store them in our system of our brain. And then we actually are capable of reading information, you see, remotely and instantaneously from these objects by getting to them through quantum non-locality, through this information code stored in our brain. You see, the same way dogs, which mark their territory, you see? So they go and mark their territory. Why? Because this substance, you see, they live around their territory, actually constitutes one and the same field with them, quantum field. hologram. It's not actually a field because it's the infinite number of fields, but it's one hologram. And the dog is capable of actually feeling enemy approaching to his territory. And other dogs are capable actually of feeling that this is not their territory, you see? And the other example is a striking example when monkeys were capable of learning the same skills as the other monkeys who were taught on the isolated island in the ocean some skills, you see, and these monkeys on the other islands, you see, taught themselves the same skills. So this means that all the monkeys in the world constitute the same monkey business, you see, and all humans in the world constitute the same human business, you see. So we cannot hide behind the walls from each other. Titanic for all of us.
Right, right. So this is kind of a holographic upgrade of dispersal and a holographic transmission of health. Well, could you describe the mechanism of how health is distributed through the mini Tesla psi generator, say a chip inside a pendant? How does that function?
So we have three products, right? So we have remote laser signal. Secondly, we have digital pharmacy, which are digitized holograms distributed as white noise, holographic signals, white noise encoded inside music, right? And the third product is the chip, which is structured by laser on the nano level. And the laser, right, is a specific laser. It's not the regular laser, because everything in the universe is a hologram. This means that we can record and transmit only holographic information. And to be capable of recording and transmitting holographic information, we need to have devices that are capable of actually creating holographic signal. So, for example, our bones are capable of creating stem cells, right? Because our bones literally have the shape of laser tube. So they have the specific geometrical shape, and this is the shape of the Kozyrev mirror. And I call it Kozyrev mirror, but I might even call it with my name, because Kozyrev, he understood this principle, but the mirrors that he created were not that correct. I will show you. So his mirrors, right, they were the sheets of aluminum, right, folded like this, right? So they were folded like this, like spirals, right? So on both sides of the so-called Kozyrev mirror, there were openings. And because of that, I claim he got a lot of negative results. So people were going into other dimensions. There were a lot of accidents linked to his group. Finally, the entire experiment was closed, precisely because the shape was not correct. So the shape should be precisely the shape of the egg. And he started his experiments, right, with controlling, managing bioforms via signals, right, holographic signals, after he noticed that yeast placed in the mirror of the telescope in Crimea, where he was an astrophysicist, actually reacted to the stellar light, you see? So he noticed that the shape of the, changed, not straight shape of the mirror, but round kind of cupular kind of shape of the mirror actually is bioactive, you see? So they used in Novosibirsk, they used these spirals. They put aluminum sheets into kind of spiral shape, and they noticed activity of this geometrical shape. But bioactivity was not always positive. It was negative, because I claim that the shape was not correct. So the proper shape of the Kozyrev mirror should be the egg. And the egg consists of two parts. First part is the pyramidal part, and the second part is a spherical part. Pyramids function as the natural psychotronic weapon. That is why no life actually exists in a pyramid. You know, birds and flies, butterflies and animals, they simply die in the pyramid. Why? Because let's take a bird, right? It has a heart. And this heart frequency gets amplified in the pyramid via resonance. And then the heart of the bird goes into resonance with the amplified frequency of this heart going back and forth in the pyramid. And then it goes into resonance, and that's why its own amplitude gets actually enlarged. And the heart of the bird gets torn apart. And I believe that right now it's a very widespread weapon, widely used by Mossad to the left and to the right. It's my guess, by the way. I don't have any proof, but looking at heart attacks of people to the left and to the right, I can just assume that it is used. It is a Soviet Union weapon, by the way. So the agent, KGB agent, had a briefcase with a generator, and this generator had exact frequency of your heart, right? And the agent was tuning on the generator, and your heart was going into the resonance with this generator, and this increased the amplitude of your heart. And like it was like that, right? But it was like this and like that, so it was torn apart by the amplified amplitude, right? So that's why pyramids were used as the mechanism of initiation. So the man who was going through the initiation rites was actually laying down the pyramid for the night or for longer period of time. And he was tested for whether he would be able to actually neutralize, you see, this mechanism via the scalar wave diffraction gratings inside his skull, his bones, and his chromosomes. And if he is an animal, right, and he cannot create this kind of balanced diffraction, boomerang diffraction gratings, scalar waves, he would die. So this is how they determined whether you are human or you are simply an animal, a beast. And anti-gravitational vehicle or any quantum leap device should consist of two parts. It should consist of the pyramid which amplifies the signal, because the angle of falling angle, right, is equal to the reflection angle, right? So, and here, because it is not straight, it is actually triangular. That's why it always goes sideways. So it always goes into more and more of the resonance. That's why when you go to pyramids, it's always a lot of echo and sound. Everything is amplified. And the spherical part of the egg gets every signal neutralized that is reflected upon itself. And when it is reflected upon itself, you get this scalar wave and the diffraction grating, and you get refraction mechanism. The other ways of explaining it is, for example, the other ways are other ancestral tricks, okay? And one of the trick is the ball, right? The same thing. If you go on the spherical part, you will not be able to create any sound, right? So you need to go onto this, triangular pyramidal part, right? So you go like this. Right? So you can go here, only here, to amplify the sound, but it gets neutralized in the spherical part. And this is where the magic happens, okay? So any quantum leap technology is based upon, I call it Kozyrev mirror. You might call it Caesar mirror because it's a Kozyrev mirror that they used in Novosibirsk in Russia. It's not correct, okay? So this Kozyrev, we will call it Kozyrev mirror for now, okay? This Kozyrev mirror, right, mirrors, they create the holographic signal, right? And when you create this holographic signal, then you can actually record and transmit the holographic information. And lasers that are used are the lasers which have mirrors inside the laser. It's a special laser. It's not just any laser, but in fact, one of the scientists who did this technology, he actually testified that even any laser will do, because our biological matter, right, actually is the Kozyrev mirror itself. So it's actually, it's actually possible to use just biological material in any laser to create the mechanism of transmitting donor information upon the recipient information. So donor information function as a modulator of the holographic carrier signal. So the carrier signal is a holographic signal, and then we use modulation of any any substance, right? Any substance. And if we use the biological matter, then we don't have even to use any facilitators for the holographic signal, you see. But if we do not have enough holographic, I would say, coherence in the matter, then we need to use some holographic facilitator like crystals. People use crystals for millennia, right? They use this shape, right? This shape for millennia. You see, Europe, Western Europe, right, had pandemics of Black Plague, right? And in Russia, there was no Black Plague, because every time Black Plague was approaching Russia, Russians were ringing the bells. You see? You see the bell? It doesn't ring here. The bells, because the bells are natural Kozyrev mirrors, you see? So they get any bacterial waveform, right? And because they create this kind of vibration, right, the signal which is covering the big territory, right, this vibration as a holographic signal transmits any bacteria, right, to these bells, and bacterial forms as waveforms get neutralized. So this is a fact, the scientific fact, that in Russia there was no Black Plague, okay? And the other example is in 1966, communists in Russia conducted experiments in Russian Orthodox churches, and they found out that in Russian Orthodox churches, which have this cupola kind of Kozyrev mirror architecture, right, there are no viruses and bacteria, though crowds of sick people, almost dying people, come there every day. And they conducted the same experiment in hospitals, maternity wards, and they found out that maternity wards, the hospitals, are so infected with the various kind of horrible bacteria and viruses that it's impossible to get rid of them, even with the very heavy disinfectants. So the shape, even the shape of the architecture is very important, right? And the other experiment was conducted by the scientist Barchenko in approximately 1916, before the communist Bolshevik revolution in Russia. He found out that these helmets of our ancestors, right, which look like cupolas, domes of the churches, right, and cupolas of other buildings and cupola ceilings. So these helmets actually enhance psychic abilities to incredible degree. So our ancestors used this technology on the battlefield. So these shapes of these helmets actually allowed our ancestors to telepathically communicate between each other. So this technology, you see, uses the basic principles of our reality. And these principles are used by the human body we think because we have the skull like this, and the, you know, Anunnaki, you see, so-called Anunnaki, aliens, this is all also idiocy of uneducated people, unfortunately. So in Archaim, right, which is a swastika city of our ancestors, of yours yourself, because Ashkenazi is R1, A1, right? So this swastika city, Archaim in southern Urals, right, have burials of very tall people, some of them 3 meters high. And in the museum, they have one of the skeletons with the skull prolongated artificially. So all of these crystal skulls with these prolongated shapes, these are all our skulls, not aliens, not reptilians. And according to the holographic principle and quantum physics, no evil actually can come to this dimension. It is protected because everything comes and goes from this dimension through the zero center of the wave crystal. And in this wave crystal, everything is balanced. So only pure light, pure soul can come to and back to this dimension and back out of this dimension.
Right, right. Now, let me ask you, taking from that, how could you describe how on-demand remote quantum rejuvenation is provided via the quantum internet?
Well, we provide quantum via internet, via laser, and it is expensive.
Oh.
It is hours and hours of laser work and specialists.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. It's a special program.
In the elite crowd, right? Top elite. It's known. You see, it was done by the Institute for, you know, Arabs, very wealthy Arabs, a long time ago. So it's all known. You see, to lower blood sugar remotely, it's all was done and all works. And as I said, in 1999, the Institute for National Security lowered the blood sugar in the diabetic curve at the distance of 20 kilometers for the American Diabetic Association. And the same was actually repeated by Garyaev and Titishny in Canada in 2002. Though they didn't have the library of digitized bioholograms and could not actually diagnose holograms. So at the moment, you see, at the moment, we offer this service only to exclusive clients. We don't offer it on in mass. It's on a mass scale.
I see. I see.
So if you want it, right?
Yeah.
And want it really hard, we can.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know that. So let's talk about something that actually, like the Tesla glasses. Is that something that you can talk about?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, could you talk about the Tesla glasses? You know, what's the science behind them and what specific eye conditions it cures, but also it cures other conditions of the body because the eyes, as you mentioned, you know, are connected to the brain or connected to the rest of the body.
Well, Tesla glasses use the same technology. So Tesla glasses are only called glasses, but in fact, they are by quantum computer. And they function and they help people only because they use the crystal of our eyes to actually transform any linear signal into the holographic signal. You see, so our crystal functions as a kind of, you see, very sophisticated piece of quantum physics equipment, quantum leap equipment. And we get this signal, holographic signal, right, which is modulated by a specific frequency that corresponds to a specific organ. And our iris is segmented, and these glasses target specific area in the iris, which is connected to a specific area in the brain. So via exciting, you see, some specific area of your brain, you can deal with any kind of disease and any kind of condition. You see, you can actually grow muscles without going to the gym. It's scientifically proven. If you incite some specific area in your brain. So they have specific programs, and every program is proven to target a specific area in your brain, which is responsible for specific bodily organ. And these glasses, they are very widespread in Russia. So some of them are more widespread, some models, some less spread, and they're used by military, and they're used by astronauts, and they're used by military hospitals for a long time. So they're certified, licensed, and all the data is heavily verified. And their success rate is between 18 to 19%. So it's a very high success rate. And they guarantee, these glasses, that you actually will improve your eyesight significantly, radically, you see. And they treat, I would say, as a protocol of rejuvenation, not as a medical device. They treat various conditions, from insomnia to depression, being overweight, underweight, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all the other kinds of things. Because they deal with the holographic signal thanks to the crystal of our eye, you see. That's why they are actually capable of delivering the information. So any kind of frequency technology will not have this kind of efficiency. So this is a brilliant idea, you see, brilliant invention that actually allows us to deliver information to our brain, which cannot be harmful, you see, in virtue of definition, you see. So this information cannot be harmful because it is filtered by the crystal of our eye. So what this means? This means that every signal gets reflected upon itself, you see. So the eye crystal functions as a refraction mechanism, so that you're getting your own unique information, you see, from any external signal, you see. But this external signal, which is linear signal, is actually the signal as a modulator for the holographic signal, which is created by our eye. This is basically the mechanism. And when this signal gets into the brain, it gets the causative mirror going again, you see, because we think not because of the matter inside our skull, we think because of the shape of our skull. If you get half of your skull off, you see, you will not be able to think clearly, because we need the shape of the skull. You see, precisely this shape, you see. The same way we need to live in the houses which are shaped like this, you see. Our ancestors actually lived in this kind of houses, you see. That's why they were so brilliant and so brave, and actually created such a large country, right? And they were able to control large territories only by the thought process. And only in Russia, only Russians preserve the ability of non-contact combat, meaning that the operator just does a pass with his hand and his enemies fall. And that's why Mossad, by the way, are so successful and so advanced, because basically Russian by blood are 1A1. So that's why. And we can either lose this ability, or we can actually enhance this ability and even develop this ability. And this depends upon the our adherence to this principle. If we violate this principle, we lose this ability, you see. And if we adhere to this principle, we actually develop ourselves. So these glasses is one of the tricks that we can do, you see, to enhance our ability to receive holographic information modulated via proper signals.
Very interesting. Now, what would you say is the typical profile of someone who acquires a mini Tesla side generator, and the typical profile of a person who acquires the Tesla glasses? What kind of person acquires this in your experience?
Well, you see, right now, right, we are standing at the brink of the genetic collapse of the planet.
At the brink of what?
Genetic collapse.
Genetic collapse.
Because 80% of food in the United States is GMO food, genetically modified organisms, which basically sterilize population. So we will get sterile plants, sterile animals, and sterile humans in the third generation, right? And I would say in 5 to 7 years from now, there will be no healthy child born in the United States if they will not stop. So we are in the great danger, and these people like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and these two guys from Google, they don't understand that destroying human genome, they destroy the planet, because we are actually linked, you see, to the planet. The 0% of our chromosomes coincide with the zero focus or center of our planet, you see. So by destroying humans, they actually destroy the planet. And according to the reciprocity law or boomerang law, they will get this upon them, right? So our customers, right, my customers are mostly people who, who awaken once. You see, they truly enlightened, truly Illuminati, right? So they actually get to the point that they understand that something should change radically, right? So quantum leap should happen. So these are people who, some of them are rejected by conventional medicine. Some of them just lost trust, complete trust. And I myself, for example, I got Lyme disease in Connecticut. So I lived in Connecticut for 21 years. So you might imagine I got it a few times. So, and I was rejected. First time I got treatment simply because I had acquaintance, Yale graduate, assistant pastor in the local congregational church. So I got treated, right? And second time I got it, I couldn't get treatment. And eventually I paid out of my pocket $18,000, you see, but I was able to pay, right? So people who cannot pay, they simply die. So East Coast, and the same as Canada, by the way, it's a pandemic zone of Lyme disease. It's a horrible disease. It makes people crazy. They lose their memory. They lose their eyesight. They lose ability to think, cognitive abilities. They get disabled. They cannot walk. They're in constant pain. I would say it's more horrible than AIDS in some sense, because it's more pain and more suffering. And it is artificially induced. It is a bacteriological weapon. It was released at a specific date and in specific place. And right now, it's a red zone of suffering and pain and death. And those people who got through this kind of a deal, right? They or their parents or their children, of course, they would not trust the system, right? And people are trying to create an alternative system. And I would say they're successful. I would say that we already won. Nobody would be able to stop quantum leap as of today. So I would say that it will happen, and we will be able to get rid of cyber concentration camp of global artificial intellect. So this is over. So I can congratulate you. We did it.
Right. So the quantum leap is really an evolutionary technology to bridge over what is an evolutionary cul-de-sac, which would be the GMO.
Yes, we are able actually to restore back, you see, to restore the ruined genomes. And at the moment, the first and most important task of the United Nations should be the creation of the banks of wave matrices or holograms for plants, animals, and humans. So this should be the Noah Ark, you see, that should be created right now. Because at some point in time, right, there will be no way back, right? So the critical mass will become so crucial, right, that healthy child will become a treasure, right? So when Russia will close its borders and will, with the cyborgs that I believe will be Russian, first Russian will create cyborgs, and we will protect our borders with cyborgs, and that's it. And America and the West will be transformed into the wasteland, and Peter Thiel and Elon Musk will depart on the artificial ships, right? And they will not understand that everything that they created will actually get back on them. So we should not actually allow this to happen. We should
Now,
create mechanisms of um, dissolving this issue.
yeah, now let me ask you something. There's an aspect of the mini Tesla side generator where you can provide a photograph, say 4 to 6 years old or some other age, and so that's programmed into the device. Now, if you don't do that, do you still get the same benefit from the device, or can the side generator still program you back to your original blueprint, even if you don't give it a photograph?
Well, we have three basic models, right? The first model is basic,
Mhm.
mini Tesla psychotronic generator, and I call it mini Tesla because I intend to produce later big Tesla. Okay, so that's why you can call it Tesla generator or mini Tesla generator. So the first model is a basic generator, and basic generator has a generic hologram, healthy human hologram encoded by laser on the nano level. And the chip is of electret quality, and electrets hold charge, they hold electronic crystalline grids, right? And when they are bombarded by some external signal, they actually release upon you this electronic crystalline structure. For example, wax candles in the churches, they function the same way. You see, they're electric. That's why they work. You can actually imprint the thought matrix into the wax of the candle. And frankincense and mirrors, all this kind of resins, right? Natural resins, sacred resins, right? They function on the same principle. And this basic mini Tesla generator has the generic healthy human biohologram encoded on the nano level via the laser, which is actually capable of recording and transmitting holographic information because of the specific shape, a specific structure of the device, right? And the second model is the super mini Tesla psychotronic generator. Super mini Tesla psychotronic generator has the individual biohologram encoded by the laser. And this individual biohologram is recorded by the laser from the childhood photograph. It can be navel, blood, or it can be placenta. So, or any kind of other biological, by the way, material of the human. And if you don't have your childhood photograph, or you were born with some inborn disease, right, hereditary disease, we can actually diagnose the disease in the hologram, the digitized hologram, and we can correct it, you see, and you can get your biohologram wholesome on the chip. And the second version of this model is the model with the casing, with one side of the casing, which is encoded by the laser with some bioelectronic drug, or e-drug as I call it. So we, for example, offer at the moment immune system rejuvenation bioelectronic drug encoded via the laser into the casing, one side of the casing. Also, we offer RNA encoded into the casing via the laser. And the third basic model is the so-called ultra mini Tesla psychotronic generator, which is the same as the super Tesla, but it has the add-on of the drug encoded into the casing. So this is the difference. And at the moment, we intend to issue different models with different kind of bioelectronic drugs encoded into the casing for immune system, for endocrine system, for digestive system, for respiratory cardiovascular system. So we are actually intending to release within the next month, with New Year, the whole series of the mini Tesla psychotronic generators for every kind of condition, so that people actually can choose a specific device that actually addresses their specific problem. So in other words, you see, if you don't have the photograph, you can actually get tested as a human, right? In our clinic, we can record biohologram from you, can diagnose it after we digitize it, or you can use the generic psychotronic generator, or you basically can just go with a specific generator, which will be a super Tesla generator with some drug without the photograph. So these are your options.
Right, right. And what is your vision of the world 10 years from now, as far as quantum leap? How will everybody have a Tesla generator? How will there be a new way of transmitting this? What is your vision for the future? Will all of humanity have access to this?
Well, you see, the point is that so-called quantum leap, right? It was the way of how our ancestors lived. You see, so our ancestors were these giants, Anunnaki, right? Pre-antediluvian civilization who had all these quantum technologies available. So it already was before, you see, we already passed through that stage, you see. So we simply, first of all, need to collect all those things that we lost. You see, we need to live in houses, which are cupola houses, you see. Even our cups that we drink, you see, created by our ancestors, because you need this shape to have your food from this shape, not from rectangular shape, you see. So we need to collect all this lost knowledge, you see. All these bells, you see, and cupola ceilings and all the singing cups, they worked. So our ancestors lived in a magical world. Everything was magical, everything was good, everything was actually bringing health and prosperity and kindness and happiness, you see, happiness. So I see the world basically making quantum leap. So I see the confederation of the self-sufficient sovereign countries, and each country would actually get access to quantum leap technology. So this means the access to free energy. So we need free energy, okay? So every country gets free energy, right? And this means self-sufficiency. So this means that so-called new world order, right? The global governance, right? will be the confederation of free, sovereign, self-sufficient nations. And every nation will have a matrix city, which will have this access to free energy. And these matrix cities will cover the territory around them, providing longevity. And you see these people like Ray Kurzweil, he doesn't understand that we are already mortal. So he wants immortality, but we are already mortal, right? So this means that he simply does monkey business, because monkeys are not immortal, okay? So the species is immortal, but not every individual monkey. So we will build these cities, right? And these cities will have matrix zones, which people will enter freely. So everybody can enter this matrix zone, right, and live there. And in this matrix zone, people will be able to live till 200 years old, and people will live in these big families. We should restore the family, because in families people have real all this kind of socialism, communism, kind of in the West derogatory words. But in the family, people don't judge each other for shelter and food. So people will restore. They should restore this clan kind of big families, extended families. They should live in extended families inside this matrix zone, taking care of each other. And then around these matrix cities and matrix zones, there will be still humans who would do their own business without any kind of violation of their rights, you see. And when we get to this point when the energy will be free, then there will be no sense of caste society, you see, no meaning of caste society, you see, because caste society is based on lack of resources. And when you get unlimited access to resources, then you will value individual things, unique things, not things that cost like a bag which costs $20,000, or a dress that costs 100,000, or the car that costs $500,000, right? You will wear individual, unique things, you see. So this is the point which we should reach. And when we get free energy, we get to this point. By the way, our ancestors, giants, right? Anunnaki giant. Anunnaki, by the way, is from Ana. Ana, it's a she, because matriarchy was before patriarchy. So Ana is the marker of the matriarchy. And there is the capital, ancient capital of our capital in Anatolia, present-day Turkey, called Ani. Ani. So Ani, Ana, Anastasia, which is Ana, Anastas, Asia, Asia, Anastasia. It's basically just from Ana, matriarch. So Anunnaki were matriarch, simply that's it. So the world was not civilized by reptilians or Anunnaki, reptilian Anunnaki. The world was civilized by Russian Baba and Devi. Devi and Baba. Baba is a woman and Devi is a virgin. So they civilized the world. They tamed animals, you see, horse and cow and a hen and geese, you see, and sheep. They were tamed by women, and even falcons were tamed by women. That's why the symbol was the falcon, griffon, sphinx, which was snake, cow, falconess, and lioness together. It's Argona or Garuda. You see, this are Anunnaki.
Very good. Very good. I'd like to just jump over and ask, I don't know, would you like to say a few words before we say goodbye to Irene?
I represent Mindtech Enterprises, and we are very happy to be able to distribute the products of Wave Genome. And we also have ultimate Tesla generator and Tesla glasses. This is all by Wave Genome. So we are very happy that we can distribute this technology. So I would like to invite everybody on mindtechenterprises.com to read the website. And maybe I would like Abbe say something interesting about our website, if it's possible.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madeleine, and thank you, Alfred, due to overload of mail inboxes and a unique visitors of 6,495 visitors today, we have decided to implement a new system that is a form of a live chat. And we are online mostly 24 hours a day to answer our clients' questions. So they don't have to wait on, because as I told you before, as 4 days ago we have over 35,000 visitors, you know, and the mailbox is going to be overloaded. So this new system really helped us to increase our sales and really helped us to get close to our customers and make a really close relationship with them. We know them even by name. So close relationship is this system. So I would really advise all of customers and all of our viewers right now to try to test this new live chat system. Actually,
Okay, and what's the website that they should go to?
It is
to get the Quantum Leap technology.
It is mindtechenterprises.com to get the live chat. Exactly, distributed by Wave Genome.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, Martin, is there anything that you would like to say?
Yeah, you can also get all the information via our app. It's now available on Android. And just search Mindtech Trade and you will find it. And also I want to give a sneak peek to the iPhone app.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is how it looks like if it's, yeah. Yeah, so that's working on right now.
Oh, good. So people can, people who are iPhone users, what exactly should they do?
Yeah, they can go online on mindtechenterprises.com and order. Now the Ultimate Tesla Generator has a special price. We lowered it with 500 for introduction price. So it's very good to order Tesla glasses.
Yeah.
Because that's if you have a family environment, you can use the Tesla glasses also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So say
in 2 months, we hope it will be ready.
Okay, good. Well, thank you very much. Well, I want to thank everyone. Most especially, I would like to thank Dr. Irene Caesar, who has taken time out of a very busy schedule today. She's scheduled to travel to join us. She's an extraordinary individual who is changing our world through her brilliance and through her ability to integrate over large eons of history and integrate the human body into the holographic universe of which we are a part. And I salute you, Dr. Caesar, and thank you very much for your work, as do, I am sure, all of our viewers. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Irene. Thank you.
To you too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alfred and Irene.
Okay.